Previous greetings, cadets, rookies, corporals, sergeants, and some of you are even the veterans at this point. Although unfortunately you are not the veterans of the most glorious battle of the Second Galactic War, and no, it's not the Malevolent Creek. I'm of course talking about the Battle of Super Earth, as today, on May 20th, 2186, we have a 1-year anniversary of this 10 days long defense of the heart of democracy itself. It was a harsh battle both on the ground and strategically. So, dear ODSTs and veterans who want a recap, let's start our history lesson, shall we? It all started May 13th, 2185. The Meridian Singularity has been already stopped within the Celeste sector, but it took billions of votes and 3 planets alongside it. Angel's Venture, which was the first victim of the Meridia, Moradesh, and Ivis. Station 81, part of the Super Earth Satellite Communication Array, operated by the Helldivers intelligence, as usual was orbiting around the Super Earth, transmitting live footage. But ever since the lost signal was regained on May 12th, one of the objects within distance started glowing significantly brighter. It was the Meridia. Meridia was once again active. As you have seen on the footage, the invasion fleet of Illuminate, known as the Great Host, has entered our galaxy using Meridia as a wormhole. Where they came from, we are yet to discover. The Great Host was the biggest enemy invasion fleet ever seen in the Second Galactic War, reaching never seen before 75% invasion rate. There was no way to stop Illuminate cult from reaching Super Earth. Great Host raised ground of Widow's Haber and proceed to Pilven 5. During confrontations on this planet, the DSS has been damaged to the point it was no longer operative and was transported to the Claurel via emergency FTL jump. Within the next days, rest of the planets on the way to Super Earth were lost, including Mars and Helldivers training facility, which resulted in reinforcement budgets being reduced by 1. The Great Host has officially entered Super Earth's orbit. By the time Great Host has reached Super Earth, we already managed to destroy almost 23% of their fleet. When they arrived, the first megacity to get attacked was Eagleopolis within the Sector 5. Due to sheer number of Squiff forces, Eagle aircrafts were being overwhelmed in the air, and now it took extra 30 seconds for each Eagle rearm. In response, the High Command issued major order to reduce Illuminate number by eliminating 2.5 billion Illuminates and Voteless. At first, we were standing our ground on Eagleopolis, but only until the second wave of inhuman forces have arrived there. We were losing ground quickly, even up to 50% of this megacity was lost. With that, Great Host has split to engage on the second megacity, the Remembrance. We are being pushed far on both of the cities, but at the same time we also managed to make them bleed, reducing their forces to 70% of their original numbers. As only 1/5 of the Eagleopolis remained in the Super Earth embrace, the Illuminate opened the third front, Equality on Sea, on the second day of the battle. And in the following days, Squids were to learn mistake of ever touching this city and how much they will regret it. Even with split forces, we managed to hold our ground on Eagleopolis, even beginning the counter-offensive, making Illuminate reposition their units to this polis. On day 3, with fresh Helldiver training facility opened with no public knowledge of its position, and new Earth warfare approach from the Ministry of Defense, both Eagle rearm times and reinforcement budgets were back to normal. Illuminate once again moved their forces to push one last time into Eagleopolis, leaving basically single ships above the Remembrance. And with that, just hours later, the first megacity was destroyed. But we stood strong. The Helldivers Corps was issued with additional stalwart stratagem permit to continue fights and finish the major order. We managed to hold steady position on remaining cities. The first major order was complete, and so was the first phase of the battle, as it has been labeled by the Galactic War experts. The Great Host at this point already lost half of its power. The High Command has issued next major order. As we already reduced invaders' forces, now it's all about defending the heart of the democracy itself. Helldivers were expected to extract from successful missions on Super Earth 20 million times within the next 3 days to ensure that we protect the cities. As soon as we managed to nicely split our forces and turn the table around, the Illuminate struck again, this time straight into our logistics, into Administrative Center O2. This hit struck like a truck, and during the night from May 23rd to May 24th, it caused loss of momentum on 2 other megacities, each polis standing on no more than 33% of freedom's protection now. Even the issued shield generator relay was completely not enough, and another megacity, the Administrative Center O2, has fallen in just 32 hours. This logistic loss prolonged extraction time by 30 seconds. What's worse, not much longer, the Remembrance was raised as well. This additionally struck our orbital support as the stratagems had additional 30 seconds cooldown. With 3 cities lost, there is no other option than activate Super Defense Protocol, Protocol Sapphire. The protocols existed for and were only used in the darkest of the times for the democracy. The protocol called for massive deforestation of Madagascar, northern part of Amazonian rainforest, and African equator rainforest. They were then transformed into huge and highly protected military air bases. Such move reduced Eagle rearm times by whole 45 seconds. With united forces of both Helldivers Corps and Civ ground troops, as well as with the support from the skies provided by the whole army of Eagles, we started pushing back enemy tentacles away from Equality on City, which was as of right now only attacked city. At May 25, we reached to the point where we held 70% of the megacity, clear sign that we will not let go of the megacity. The Great Host had to move. Their units remained on Administrative Center O2, but forces above Remembrance have been moved to the next target, York Supreme. We managed to easily hold the city, almost untouched, but it resulted in losing progress we made in Equality on Sea. To mess things further, Illuminate also started invasion over Port Mercy. Now to defend our home, we not only needed the Helldivers, but the Helldivers also needed bigger guns. On May 26th, the first time in the Second Galactic War, High Command issued second major order at the same time. Later these were called the Strategic Opportunities. Bot divers were tasked to reposition to repair the DSS. This operation needed automaton scraps collected by killing 200 million automaton units. With that, about 20% forces moved into the west of the galactic map to swiftly repair weapon of mass liberation. Soldiers on the Super Earth were standing strong, but due to the reposition, Major Order fell short by just 4% on May 27. Even with the lost major order, we were dealing huge punches into the Great Host, as it was approaching mere 20% of their original fleet. There was only one objective left: defend the Super Earth. Things were not looking good. Port Mercy have fallen the next day and our defenses started to shatter. We lost 50% of both our ammunition and steam supplies. High Command has responded by activating Protocol Diamond. Infrastructure protection has been revoked and each Helldiver was provided with orbital napalm barrage as an additional stratagem. The only city still standing tall was Equality on Sea, as York Supreme had just hours left to leave. The Squids reinforced the longest standing city to break our will, and with ease they had taken York Supreme. There were only two megacities remaining: Equality on Sea and the capital. Loss of 5th Police reduced our reinforcement budgets by 2. Last of the protocols was initiated, the Protocol Ruby. Protocol issued FRV to every Helldiver till end of the fights. But, even with all those disadvantages on our side, Illuminate were shifting away from Equality on Sea. The Democracy space station has returned, stronger than ever, and it wasn't alone. Whole fleet of bot divers came back alongside it for one final defense. DSS has right away activated orbital blockade around the Super Earth and sent down the Eagles to storm enemy forces. The DSS also provided logistic help to the battlefield, eliminating every disadvantage: normal extraction times, normal reinforcement budgets, normal supply counts. It was time for the Squids to learn that they do not mess with Lady Liberty. With Weapon of Mass Liberation, Super Earth armed forces reclaimed land of Equality on Sea, slaying every squiff that remained. The city was nearly 100% cleared from Illuminate forces. The 10th day, May 29th, Illuminate had no other choice but to try to take the capital, the Prosperity City. The fleet, which stood at only 13%, began siege on last untouched megacity. Throughout all this time, when the Battle of Super Earth was happening, not 100% of our units have been deployed within our homeworld or in any relation to the cause really. About 20% of divers, made of the bug divers, refused to protect the Super Earth, and still fought Terminate Horde all this time. By many, they were being called dissidents, traitors, or even part of the traitorous group of Helldivers known as House Divers. It was this time when bug divers got infamous title of those who never helped democracy's cause. In the end though, High Command did decide to put them in use. On planet Fort Union, Hacker would be able to send malware to ships of the Great Host, reducing its power. The problem is, the planet was attacked by the Terminids. But this time the bug divers actually obeyed, and with additional support of other Helldivers, they have started the defense. Because of shrunk amount of units deployed on Super Earth's capital, battle in Prosperity City was hard to maintain. Over half of the city was lost, and with this, the Squids took down President of Super Earth. He died defending democracy from endless hordes of Illuminate with nothing but a pistol. He died bravely, he died a hero, but most importantly, he died for the democracy itself. Authority of the President has been shifted to Ministry of Defense for the time being. On the Fort Union, the progress was quick, the defense was success in just a couple of hours, and the malware was successfully imported to the Great Host. The malware has shut down estimated 5% of the original Great Host fleet, dropping their remains from 8% to just 3% of the original force. This was it, the last sworn to be taken down. We stood strong, we fought, we protected, and we purged our enemies for all their countless crimes. The Great Host was no more. The Super Earth was defended. Illuminate fleet, it was time of happiness and celebration for our victory. We showed our true power by slaying the enemy forces. We showed our loyalty to liberty, well, most of us. We showed our brotherhood, fighting side by side with so-called blueberries, and made a bond with them which will last for centuries. 105 million of Helldivers died to defend the heart of the democracy. Although they would not want us to cry over their corpses, they would want us to cheer over the victory and bathe gloriously in blood of over 7 billion defeated enemies. Maybe only 2 megacities remained, but what remained is the beacon of Super Earth, liberty, prosperity and democracy itself, as well as the new symbol of united humanity's power and cause of PTSD attack in many squids, equality on sea. During celebration, a new president has been elected as well. The victory was never in doubt. And here we are now, 1 year later, during the anniversary of the battle. Never after did any of 3 enemy factions got even remotely close to touching soil of Super Earth again. For our victory, we got rewarded with a memorial in form of Protector of Heart Cape. Now of course we do know where the new Helldiver training facility is located, as it is located on Zegema Paradise. And not only that, 2 of the megacities had been already restored from the ashes on Super Earth. Remembrance, under the new name Gun, and York Supreme, under the new name New York Supreme. For this year's celebration, the High Command has issued us with major order of performing a crusade on Illuminate planets to remind them that we don't like our planet being touched and give them some PTSD. And that has been it for our history lesson. If you stayed till the end, huge thank you and plus 50 to your social status, dear citizen. Now, resume your duty, come back to the battlefield and kill some squids for me, Helldiver. Dismissed.